Hi, everybody. This is Vickie of Cruising Princess Cruise Lines with Vickie. And I know I had promised about 2 weeks ago when we got back from the Golden that I would do a short review. And I was originally going to write one up, but then after talking with Bernie here, we decided we would do it as a podcast. So bear with us. We're going to just kind of carry on a conversation about our days on the Golden. Now I'll start with that. This cruise was actually a 10-day on the Grand, and then we had a night in LA, and then we did 2 3-day cruises on the Golden Princess. So they got on at LA, a day at sea, Ensenada, and back to LA, and we did that as a back-to-back. And why did we do that, Bernie?
Well, we had just 2 weeks of vacation time that we had to fill up, and the time on the Grand, and then just this one fell into place. So we thought it would be a good idea to spend an extra 6 days at sea with Princess.
Yeah, and it was a really good price. The only downside I realized after we'd booked it was that the second leg was going to fall just before the American Thanksgiving, and I later found out that the schools were actually closed. So we knew that it probably would have a lot more families. So that's the reason we booked it. We had booked a guarantee balcony, and about like 2 days or a day and a half before we got on board, we found out we were quote unquote upgraded to a mini suite, but it was one of the accessible cabins, so it would accommodate somebody in a wheelchair or a scooter or disabled. It was Dolphin 733, and I didn't know about the cabin and layout until the night in LA when I did some research, and I cautiously warned Bernie that it wasn't a normal mini suite. Now, was it, Bernie?
No, it wasn't. Now, it is a big cabin, and it is down at the back of the ship, very right across from the suite. So it's very quiet.
It's the last cabin on the end, right? Yeah.
Yep, and it's a big balcony.
Yeah.
If you were on a voyage like Panama Canal or something like that, it would be ideal because it's nice and low and huge. We only had it for 6 days, so we had to suffer through.
Yeah. So, what were some of the positives of the cabin?
Well, it is a mini suite. It is considered an upgrade. It's a bigger cabin with about a couch, 2 televisions, a bigger bathroom, huge shower because it's made for accessible.
No bathtub though.
No bathtub, but I mean it was a huge shower, and it was.
And it did have a stool in the shower, so you.
That's true. It had a seat. It folded down, and we never tried it, but it was there. Like I said, it was at the aft of the ship, so it was quite quiet. You didn't hear a lot of your neighbors.
There was a door, though, that the crew accessed to the stairway that did create some noise, especially during muster drill, and then also you said you'd heard the security guard or something one night walking through and slamming.
He was going through, I guess he was walking through to go down into the crew area, and he had his walkie-talkie. Of course, it probably wasn't loud compared, for normal people, but in the wee hours of the morning it was loud.
One of the things in this cabin, though, it is identified as 2 twin beds that do not make up as a queen. Now, I knew from doing some research that you could, in fact, make it into a queen, but you would not have a whole lot of clearance, and you'll have to take a look at the pictures. If you did put the beds together, only one would have a light, and you would then have little clearance between the end of the bed and the other nightstand. So you have to kind of look at the pictures. And
the nightstand is built into the wall. It's not one where you can move it around. So it really doesn't work as a queen setup. It's too It's two twin beds that you...
And you can't sit up in the bed because there's no wall behind you to like sit up and read. That did bother me a little bit because I like to read in bed and sitting up a little and couldn't do that. The TV that you would watch from the bed was very tiny, and I couldn't really see it that well from my bed. Then there's also 3 cabinets. Instead of a big closet, there's 3 cabinets. One of the cabinets you could hang like long items in, and then the other 2 cabinets opened up and there were 2 bars. But we quickly found that the top bar really couldn't accommodate anything being hung up in it because it would have hung, well, at least a foot or 2 feet past the bar below. So we had to really only use the bottom bar. One of the things I noticed in the cabin was there was no full-length mirror at all. They certainly could have one. They could put one on the bathroom door or the cabinets of the closet, but you know, for me, I couldn't see below my waist. And then I thought, well, if someone's in a wheelchair, they could really only see like from their neck up. They wouldn't even be able to see what they look like if they were having to sit in a wheelchair or a scooter. The bathroom, the shower, loved the shower. Love the shower. In fact, I didn't have any issue with the drains. It took a bit of getting used to make sure that they lined up with the grates in the floor. But what about those drains, Bernie?
Well, quite quickly we realized that there was an odor of sewer. And it was because of these drains. They're huge. And like it's a nice huge shower with the wraparound shower curtain, but it's the downside is that because of the huge drain, the sewer gas backs up and you end up smelling it.
Yeah.
So
we had to keep the door closed all the time. Or
you put towels across the drain when it was dry, so that just to prevent the gas from coming back up. It's a for the right couple, it's an ideal cabin. It really is, because there is lots of room, and if you don't mind sleeping in your own bed, twin bed, it works.
Yeah. What about the toilet seat?
It wouldn't stay up because of the security bars for
not security. They were security bars.
Well, the bars for the handicapped. I don't know what they were thinking, because of the bar, you couldn't have the lid to stay up on its own. You had to.
Yeah, which would have been if you were in a wheelchair trying to use that washroom. I don't know how you would manage to keep the seat up.
You have to sit on it.
Yeah, I guess you would.
Yeah. That's the only answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the cabin was, like Bernie said, it did have its positives, and it had quite a few negatives, and I certainly would stay away from that cabin, but it would be a great cabin for somebody who maybe had a walker or a scooter or a wheelchair, for that matter. But
for the right individual, it is a good cabin.
Yeah. Yeah, I still have bruises from those hooks on the closet door.
On the closet door, the big one.
Yeah, the big door. Yeah, because they were just at my shoulder length there, and every time I'd go in the bathroom, I kept hitting it.
Again, you couldn't hang your housecoat on it, or it'd be dragging in the door.
Yeah, so it was great for somebody in a wheelchair that maybe could hang a nightgown, but anybody else couldn't. Couldn't hang anything. So I would sort of recommend to Princess to put 2 more hooks up that are higher to accommodate able body. So we got on board, and it was really easy. Embarkation was smooth.
It was very smooth.
Actually, surprisingly smooth. Yeah,
we arrived there on the Thursday about 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it was early.
Yeah, and we had no problems. We were through and on the ship in no time. No, it was before 1 o'clock because we weren't allowed to have access to our room until 1.
That's right, but we did.
We were able to go straight to the room, and luckily, because it's only a 3-day, a lot of people didn't have a lot of luggage, so we got our luggage right away.
We met our cabin steward. Master Joe was quite quick and easy. And we had qualified, one of the nice things is if you're one of the most traveled, you get a free dinner for two at one of the specialty restaurants. So we chose to go to the Crown Grill that night. And when we came back to the cabin, we had gotten a bottle of champagne and some canapes and chocolate-covered strawberries from Princess Public Relations Department, which is really lovely. And then we got a phone call from the maitre d', seeing if there's anything we could do. When we'd mentioned we were going to the Crown Grill, and he said, well, make sure that the head waiter lets him know so that he could come and introduce himself and say hi. So we had dinner at the Crown Grill, and that was quite a fun experience. Again, service was...
They were so busy.
Were they really? But they really...
No,
they were busy. Yeah.
They were packed. A lot of people, even the newer cruisers, I think they wanted to take advantage of the steakhouse, and for the price, I think they really realized that it is a good deal.
It is a good
for the
deal.
Nominal fee that you do pay.
The food was fabulous.
That was, and it always has been. So it would,
But the service, and I can't blame the waiter because I thought the waiter was fabulous. But the service, he just had too many tables.
That's right.
Really.
He was too busy.
Yeah, nobody asked us how our meal was, or took a long time to clear plates and stuff. So we told the head waiter that night that we would be, we would like to meet the head waiter, the maitre d', yeah, that he'd asked to be called. So we're sitting there. We were almost finished our meal, or we were close to finish our meal, and we saw the maitre d' come in, and he went to the table beside us. And I mentioned to Bernie, I said, that's the maitre d'. He's at the wrong table. Because I could hear him saying, oh, hi, I'm, such and such. And the couple was kind of nonchalant. They just kind of shrugged, oh, yeah. And I had mentioned to the head waiter that we were dining in the anytime dining room the next night. And so when the maitre d' came in and was talking to this other table, I overheard him say, oh, you're dining in Donatello tomorrow. And this couple went, no, we're eating every night at the Crown Grill. And so, okay, that's fine. And he kind of went away, and he never did come over to see us. And I thought, that's fine. And the head waiter had said that there was going to be a bottle of wine for us tomorrow at the dining room, and so forth and so forth. So the next day we go for dinner.
We made up with our friend, officer she's from North Vancouver, but we know her quite well, and we do really like seeing her. We spent time with her, had drinks, and then we went into the dining room for the meal and asked for the special bottle of wine, and they didn't know where it was.
Yeah, they had no idea, and they didn't have a reservation either.
No.
They said, oh, you're dining at the Crown Grill. And then I went, oh, I still think they think we're the other couple. So they got us a table, and we sat with our friend, who's a three-stripe officer, and I know that they were kind of scrambling, and we felt kind of bad, and they finally got us a bottle of wine that they had gotten, Princess had provided.
Very nice bottle.
Very nice bottle of wine, thank you. And so that was that. And then the next night, we decided we better make a reservation at the Crown Grill for our first night of the next cruise. And when we got there, the head waiter said, oh, yes, Dolphin 733, you were supposed to be here at 7 o'clock. And we said, no, we never made a reservation. And again, they had us down for the Crown Grill. And he actually gave us, he said, tisk, no dessert for you. And we're saying we never made a reservation. So it was kind of a comedy of errors. But we did finally meet up with the maitre d', and we did thank him for everything. And even our next meal at the Crown Grill was, again, it was very good food. The food was fabulous, but the experience was nothing special. It was really lacking, again, I'm looking at Bernie, who's nodding, and it was a disappointment because I know of how good it can be, and I was saddened to think that, is this what it's come to now? Is this what we're going to get whenever we dine at the Crown Grill or at Sabatini's?
No, it's not that way. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think we noticed one thing overall on the 3-day cruise is that the staff seem to be under pressure. They're really going, they're trying to do their job well, and I think they just it's the strain of the 3-day cycle is getting to them.
I think the Crown Grill experience, of all the times we've done it, I would say 50% of the time we don't have very good service.
True.
So I'm concerned that they don't have enough staff in the specialty restaurants. That staff that kind of goes around like an assistant waiter and does the clearing of the plates and, making sure you have everything, the pepper and all that. So I did put that in my survey. I do want to say some of the positives, though.
There was a lot of positives about it was really good to see a lot of families.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lot of families.
You would see the families sitting down and having dinner together and talking, and they, all the little kids, and of course, most of them, very high percentage of them being first timers. It was, reassuring to see that, okay, that people do enjoy this type of vacation, and they hopefully they'll come back and try it again.
Yeah, there were a lot of kids, but I was really impressed with how well behaved the kids were.
Yes.
Yeah, I had many times when walking down the hall, the kid would say, oh, good morning, ma'am. Yes. Yeah, they would make way for us. Very, very polite. I didn't see too many acting up, but a couple crying. But parents were very good.
That's normal. The only thing is that because of so many new cruisers, and it's such a short cruise, they don't get to learn the cycle of ship life. And going up to the Horizon Court the first morning, that was
you came back funny. Pretty flustered.
Yeah, that was one. Okay, I'm going to start ordering my breakfast.
Which Bernie hates to do, have breakfast in the room. So he came back flustered. It was a real mess up in the Horizon Court because nobody seemed to know the routine. Plus, they had 2 entrances.
That's right.
It was real.
Rather than having the one entrance and exit, they had them coming in on both sides, so it made for even more confusing.
Yeah.
But the food was excellent.
I don't think I had one bad thing on board. The food was fabulous everywhere.
That's right. And even at the dining rooms at night, it wasn't your traditional slate of menu. It was a mixture of all the different dishes that we have seen over all of the sailings that and they seem to try to bring something to the menu that somebody would find interesting.
Yeah. So it wasn't like the normal traditional, even like sail away dinner was different than what it normally is. It seemed like they grabbed items from different menus and combined them. So, I really enjoyed the food. But the service in the dining room was very, it
was hit or miss.
And
it was.
Again, they were very busy. Anytime dining was a real mess. I think they had a lot of anytime diners. And then a lot of kids and stuff. So that makes it even busier. And
we heard a lot of complaints from people that, again, not knowing the cycle or how the ship life worked, they would try to go to dinner at around 6:30. And they don't realize that the first seating has only been there for an hour and a bit. And, of course, nobody eats that fast. So
the other anytime dining would have been filled.
Yeah, they end up waiting around for a long time and complaining about it, and not realizing that all they had to do was wait a half hour, and then They'd
Yeah.
be no problem.
I do think Princess needs to work on their anytime dining, though. My thoughts.
Well, the big problem is that one of the anytime dining room has been turned into for seating for traditional.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is that either, you know, there's a high demand of people that want to eat right at 5:30 or whatever, and you know, and it's not all old people.
No. It's, yeah, I know.
You know, they.
But you got 2 dining rooms doing early seating and 1 doing a late.
That's right.
But it seems like any time is any time as long as it's not between 6 and 7:30.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the way it is.
And that's the way it is on almost
on all ships.
On all the ships. And I think comparing the Grand to the Golden, as far as the choice of meals, I think that's where it really was nice to have Alfredo's pizza.
Yeah, it was another option. Yeah.
Because you know, if you and I, because we like to eat ashore. And if we have a meal on shore, then we end up coming back and we just have a light snack in the night.
Yeah, that's true. We don't always have to dine in the dining room.
That's right.
One of the people really took advantage of the dressing up on the second night. A lot of pictures were taken.
I was amazed
dancing.
at how many families were dressed up, and not just we're talking.
Yeah, they almost formal.
Dining, you know, gowns with suits, and I mean even the kids.
Yeah, it was really cute.
Yes.
Yeah, entertainment was
excellent.
Excellent.
They really brought in a wide variety of things to try to keep the people busy and enjoy and entertain and the people seemed to get into it.
Yeah. There was 2 production shows, I think. British Invasion, and then there was another one that we'd seen.
Yes.
I can't remember what that one was called. I'll have to look back at my blog. But, you know, for a 3-day cruise. And comedians, lots of comedians. Carlos Oscar was on.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
was very fun. And then, 50s night and, Western night. It was, and movies. There was really good.
Too much football, though.
Yeah, not enough.
Hockey. No hockey. I think they should change it over to get hockey rather than football.
I think you might get some arguments there.
I think so, but that's okay.
We really liked the itinerary. We enjoyed the sea day, and then we loved the day in Ensenada both times, and I can't say enough about that. We really, really did enjoy that. And disembarkation was really smooth. It went really well.
It really went fast, and again, the people that had problems were a lot of the newer people that didn't know how the system worked. But we weren't in any rush to get off, so we waited in our lounge until the time, and we pretty well walked straight through, and we saw the same security guard we saw 6 days ago. So we said, "Hi, how you doing?" Long time no see.
That's right, customs agent.
Customs agent. She was. She was, she was.
Yeah, no, that went really smooth. Now, we both went away quite concerned about if it's cutbacks with Princess, because there was a whole bunch of things that happened that we just shook our head at. And one of them was we always asked for a top sheet on the bed. And so we said to our cabin steward, and, for some reason it didn't happen. And of course, that night when we went to bed, no problem. We called down to housekeeping, and they said they would deliver some. And there was a knock at the door, and Bernie answered, and the guy just
delivered me 2 top sheets.
Yeah, and so we had to make our own bed, which we thought was, certainly didn't kill us, but that's just something, kind of odd. We were getting canapes every night, little hors d'oeuvres every night. And for some reason, what time did they deliver them?
The last night was 7:45.
And the night before that was really late too, because it came when we were at dinner. So that was kind of odd, 7:45 for canapes. But again, we didn't pay for them, so we just kind of shrugged. But it's a little odd. We started getting morning room service, and one day, the day in Ensenada on our last leg. we didn't get our menu. We didn't get our food. And we look out on the door, and there's the menu.
The menu is still sitting on the door.
Yeah. So I guess they didn't come all the way down to the end of the hall and collect it from the suites and the mini suite there. So we called, and they said it would be about 20 minutes, and thankfully we didn't have to rush off. And then they missed something on the order as well, which we just kind of said, forget that. So, but it was just, everything was sort of building up, more and more things. Of course, we were having issues with the Crown Grill, the service there. They were doing a lot of work on the ship, weren't they?
Yeah, the ship needs, they should have actually spent a day in port and just did all the work and got it over with, because the sail away party on the second time, they were applying a liquid film on top of the decking up on the pool deck, the same time as the sail away party.
Exact same time.
Now the guys that were doing the job were wearing ventilators, but everybody around was getting high on the fumes.
Yeah. I mean, as guests at the party, we really couldn't hang out there. It was way too strong, and I felt horrible for like the DJ and the band and the cruise staff that had to hang out there. They didn't have any options. I thought that was pretty rough. And then for some reason on the last night, and I don't know where it was coming from, but at midnight I woke up because there was a strong odor in the cabin of this exact same chemically smell of some kind of epoxy or something that was it was so strong in the cabin. I actually went outside onto the deck with the quilt and fell asleep sitting up until the deck attendants up top started washing down the decks. It's kind of funny to look at it now, but back then I was about to scream and kill somebody. That was, I thought about calling to find out, but again, we weren't having any luck with purser staff either. We got our final bill, and there was a fee for internet that I had gone over, and we found out that, in fact, yes, I had gone over when I must not have signed off. Bernie still had over an hour in minutes, and so I went down to the front desk to see and spoke with the lady there and, explained the situation, and she would have nothing of. She did not want to talk with me. She stood there and stared right at me and said, "There's nothing I can do." And she talked to the internet guy, and he said, "There's nothing I can do." And I said, "Could I speak to someone above you?" She left. She was gone for at least 10 minutes, because I gave up after 10 minutes and just left and said, "I'll eat the cost and I'll pay that." And I learned a lesson. But again, I'm thinking, here we are on a cruise with so many first-time cruisers, and our thoughts were, is this what they're going to see as the Princess product?
There were a lot of positives that when we spoke with other people, they did enjoy the ship and everything that was going on. But it was the cruise. We learned very quickly that the cruise was geared towards the newer cruiser, more so than, because the games at night, especially, we went to a couple of the trivia games, and it was very fundamental trivia about the ship or whatever, and
yeah, it was good for them. We won it though.
we won. Yeah, we won the bottle of champagne, but
yeah, we gave it to them.
we gave it to our people that we were playing with. But we found that the games, and it's nothing to take away from the crew staff, or they're doing the right thing by going to try to make it fun for the newer people.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, this cruise really was a good thing for first-time cruisers, but I'm more concerned with the product that they were presented is really, and we've sailed 49 times with Princess, and this was not a representation of what their product is.
But we've always told people that even when you're doing the 3-day repos from LA up to Vancouver in the fall or spring, that that isn't, it's a nice getaway for 3 days, but it isn't really indicative of what it's like on a cruise for, say, 7, 10, or even longer. Mm-hmm. It's something that you have to experience, and if you enjoy cruising, that's what you should strive for, is at least 10 days, because that way there you get a feel for the ship, and you also get the chance to meet some of the crew and get to know them a bit better than on 3 days.
Yeah, we didn't really connect with anybody. There's a couple faces we knew from other cruises, but it was just a really strange cruise, and
well, it fulfilled the need that we wanted. It was we had the time available, and we wanted and we did. It was very easy to find a place to kind of relax and sit and read.
Yeah, we found quiet spots.
Yep, there, up the back deck. It was the kids were up in the front, and they were noisy, but they were well behaved. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like they were causing problems all the time.
Yeah, it was. I am cautiously going forward with our next cruises, and I think if I see a trend, I hate to say it, but I'd be looking at maybe another line. But I'm hoping that it's not. And I had to go. Okay, all the other ones were really great.
Well, the 10 days on the Grand was phenomenal, and it was we really loved that ship. It was.
So what did we learn from this cruise?
Maybe not do the short ones anymore.
Not do the 3-day round trip out of LA.
Yeah, and I'd rather do 3 days at Disneyland.
I can say that this ship, anybody who was not from California was an anomaly.
Yes.
Yes. They when you sat down at a table and you asked where they were from, they would name the town they were from, not the city or the state or anything.
No, yeah. It was all.
And I never met any other Canadians at all.
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay.
There were a few, not many, not many. There were a few.
So it was a little odd. So yeah, I probably wouldn't do a 3-day round trip out of LA again. Especially not at that time of year, but never say never.
Yeah, never say never. I mean, for 3 days, for the price, if the price is right, and listen, I can sit and read a book in front of by any pool, and I'd be quite happy, and that's
well, we were both ready to get off, though.
Yeah, we were. Yeah. It was because of the
all the circumstances.
Yeah, I think too. We had 14 days that were phenomenal. Even the problems in San Pedro with the rental car.
That's a different story.
Yes, that was a different.
Check out the blog.
That's another story. But
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add to it?
No, I just hope that anybody who had sailed on those 3 days and they've never sailed before, if you had a bad experience, don't be quick to make it judge Princess that they're all like that.
Yeah. Maybe
give them a try for a 7-day or a 10-day or even longer, and you might get you may be surprised.
Yeah, I guess my hope is, and I did write extensive review on the survey that I got, but my goal, and I hope that Princess is listening to this and will take it to heart, that some of the cutbacks are being noticed, and I really hope that they can change, or because us loyal passengers really, really like certain things, but it was a great holiday, and that's what I'm going to leave it with. Okay. So thanks for listening to the podcast. If you want more information, make sure you check out my blog, Vickie and Bernie Travel.blogspot.ca, or you can come to my Facebook page, Cruising Princess Cruise Lines with Vickie, and get information there and ask a question. We'll get some of our loyal fans to answer them for you. Make sure you stay tuned for a future podcast. I'm going to have an interview with some friends who did a Panama Canal cruise on the Island Princess in November. And I do want to state that all the views here are my own personal views or that of Bernie's, and I am in no way affiliated with any cruise line or travel agent. I'm just an avid cruiser and like to share our knowledge about travel. Thanks for listening.
Along with that.